Hello and welcome to the Adventure Toolkit tutorial number 4. My name is Glenn Storm and I'm from Hot Iron Productions. Today we're talking about event management. In our last tutorial we used a trigger to activate a single object, a mover. This simple trigger system works fine, but if we want to activate multiple objects or deactivate multiple objects all within the same event, we're going to have to use something else. Luckily, the Adventure Toolkit comes with a very special tool called the Event Manager. I'm going to create an object right now. I'm going to call it the Event Manager. And I'm going to apply that tool. It's under the Event folder called Event Manager. This can handle multiple events called steps. For now I just want to have one event. And within each event you can name it, give it a label, and you can list a number of objects to activate, a number of objects to deactivate, and you can also choose to affect the scripts only and leave the activation state of the objects alone. More about that later. But for now, I want to activate 3 objects, and just for example purposes, I'll deactivate 1 object. And just for the sake of argument, I'll go ahead and give this a label of turn on. It's really just an organizational tool. You get to see events in English instead of it saying element 0. Alright. So the event manager will not fire all on its own. It needs a trigger to do that. And we'll use an event trigger tool. There are 2 in the Adventure Toolkit. One is called Event Single, which will fire a single event, and one is called Event Series, which will fire multiple events in sequence. We're just going to do a single event, so we'll do that. And it has a number of properties to fill in. The first one, and the most important, is the Event Manager that it's going to affect. We'll go ahead and drag our reference for this Event Manager onto that field. The next is which step it needs to affect, and we only have one. We're going to fire the first event, element 0, so we're going to have event step 0, and we'll leave that alone. The next one is relay on activate. If you check this box, it's going to assume that when this trigger tool is on, it should begin firing the event. If not, then it will act exactly like this other trigger that we made earlier. It will assume that it needs to have a collider with is trigger checked, and it will wait for that collision event to happen before it fires the event. Okay, but we do want this one, for this example, we do want it to be a timed event, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a delay of 3 seconds. That's all I'm going to deal with for right now. It's set to immediately go because it's active. It's going to wait 3 seconds and then fire event 0 on this event manager. Okay, great. Now this event manager doesn't have anything to activate or deactivate yet, so let's go ahead and make some objects to activate. I'm going to make a particle system, just something very simple, and I'm going to make a light. Okay, so let's grab our light. Let's just place it somewhere pretty. Turn up the brightness. Okay. Let's add some particles as well. And, excuse me, particles. Okay. I don't really care. That looks fine. So, one thing left to do is to put the references in their place. I'll turn this particle system on. I'll turn the light on. And you know what, I'm also going to turn this cylinder on. Okay. At the same time, I want to turn something off. Let's just pick our aim object, just for the sake of argument. We'll just see that we want to turn all of these things on or off during a single event. Okay. I guess one last thing to do is to go ahead and turn off the things that we want to turn on. This particle, that light, and the cylinder are all going to be turned off. And that is it. The aim object is already on, so we're ready to see if this event works. What we expect to happen when I hit play is the event trigger is going to wait 3 seconds and then fire event 0. The event manager is going to take that trigger and turn on the particle, the light, and the cylinder all at the same time. It's also going to turn off the aim object. So this cube will disappear, the cylinder will appear, so will a particle system and a light. And because we've set the cylinder to fall with gravity, it will fall and collide with this old trigger that we had, which will in turn trigger a mover. We've now sort of combined these trigger systems together and made a more complex system. Let's see how it works. Okay, so we've turned it on, it's waiting 3 seconds, and there is our event. It has fired, and we've handled multiple objects at the same time. Again, the event manager can handle multiple steps, multiple events that is, and you can turn things on or off at will. So this is a more complex way to handle event management. So as an example, you may want to not only open a door, but have a sound of a door opening, and you may want, I don't know, some other particle systems to fire while the door is opening. There's other examples. I could go on and on, but your imagination can take over. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you stay tuned for the next one.